Hey guys, welcome back to Racket Headquarters. I'm Gary. Wanted to show you today our modular rack assembly. We have a lot of customers that buy these racks that come in the box, and we'll just want to walk through when you get your rack, how it comes out of the box and how you put it together. So obviously this is the condition that the box should arrive in. You're going to want to lift the lid off and open her up, and we'll take a look and see what we got inside here. You can see the racks packaged nicely in this box. We got some crossbars and different components. We use these partitions to kind of keep all the components separated from each other so they're not touching and rubbing and bouncing around, interfering or marring that powder coat finish that's on there. You'll notice inside we got a hardware kit that's going to come out first. There's also a printed set of instructions with a photograph here on there of how everything works together. Set those aside for right now. And let's go ahead and just start taking the parts out of the box. It's going to be the front crossbar. Set this down right here. What you want to do is lay out some cardboard or a tarp or any sort of material that's going to allow you to not scratch up the powder coat finish on the rack. This is going to be your front overhang section. You lay that out here. Another overhang section. Go ahead and put that alongside here. Got a series of crossbars. This is going to be the mid crossbar, so let's just go ahead and set it by the front crossbar. Lay that out. Try and get it not to roll away here. And then we got an extra crossbar. This is going to be a clamp-on crossbar that goes out. And our rear bar. Set all those right over here. Just get organized. Down in the bottom here, gotta get these partitions out of the way. You want to tear those out of the box. And we got what we call a center section. This is a kind of the rear and middle section of the rack. Lay that out here. And a second one right behind it. And last but not least are going to be the base rails of the rack. Go ahead and pull those out. Be down at the bottom. Actually, just noticed that what would the rack be without the legs? We do have 4 legs, 4 uprights. They're going to be down at the bottom of the box as well. So set those aside here. Get those unwrapped. All right. As far as the contents of the box, that's what you're going to have in there. You're going to also need some tools to get the job done. What I got here is a socket wrench with a 9/16 socket on it. We also got an open-end 9/16 wrench. You're going to need both of those. And then this tool comes in handy. We'll get to that part. It's just a regular screwdriver or any steel shaft. When we get to that part, we'll explain what's happening, but you might want to have one of these handy as well. I'll pass these tools on to Calvin. He's going to be helping us out here with the assembly of the rack. So the first thing we want to start with
is the overhang section.
Overhang section, you want to grab one of those. Bring that out. You can see he's laying it out where the middle crossbar section is going to be facing in. He's got that laid out there. He's going to want to grab the matching side section. That's the passenger side. Here's the driver's side. We'll swing that around. Want to bring those two parts together. You can see they're joined with that X-brace connection point. Calvin's going to go ahead and get the hardware packet open. I'm going to start by, what is that, Calvin? Is that a 1-inch?
This is a 1-inch bolt.
And
with the X-brace, you sometimes have to bring them together. So you got to pry a little bit.
So that's where that
bolt started. And then use a ratchet to Get it in there.
We like that X-brace connection point to be nice and tight and real snug fit, so
There.
that screwdriver will just kind of bring both of them together and get it nice and snug.
And just put the nut on finger loose. You don't want to tighten them all right away. You want to wait until it's together, then you tighten it up. Okay, now the next side.
Next side we're gonna do is the passenger side. Same process, just prying that X-brace connection together just for a nice tight fit, and starting one bolt in there just to bring them together.
Okay, and now the center bar.
Center bar is going to go in next. You just want to tilt each side up. You can see that we have the weld nut located on the inside of the male tubing of the middle crossbar. And that just is a really nice feature. You don't have any chunky through bolts going through the rack. There's a weld nut located inside. You're gonna take another one of the 1-inch bolts with a lock washer on it. And as Calvin said before, you just wanna hand tighten until you get to the point where everything's just kind of tightened in by hand. We're gonna come through later and with our tools and get everything nice and snug.
Okay.
Moving on then to the front hoop crossbar. That's just gonna slip right in. And once again, you wanna grab a couple of your 1-inch bolts. Lock washers on those as well. Right, get that started.
Try the other one.
Sure. All right, got that going. Get those two components lined up, and there we go. We got it started. Next up is the
legs.
The legs, all right. So at this point in time, you're gonna wanna go ahead and grab a leg. Just lift the rack up and slip the one leg in. You're gonna follow suit on the rear of the rack here. I'll grab the other two legs and go ahead and get the whole rack elevated up, Calvin. Would that be all right? Or do you want to start?
No, we can do it right now.
Okay. Last one here. And these are getting the 1-inch with the lock washer, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Calvin. One there. All right. And then after that, Calvin, what are we doing next? I'll get these other two legs going.
What we could do is put the rear bar on to stabilize the rack so that we can put the legs on, or the angle on the legs.
So we got a couple D-ring pins there that are going to support that rear bar into place. There we go, swap into D-ring pins. Now you pretty much got the frame of the rack together. Let's go ahead and start with the angles now. Want to make sure with these that the angle is obviously set up in a way where this down section is going into the bed. So there is a left and a right side angle. This would be the driver's side. Down angle going in. And go ahead and prop the rack up here and get the rack set down in these angles. And what type of bolt are you using there, Calvin?
It's a 3/8. I believe it's a 2.5, 3 inch.
3-inch bolt. Okay.
Yeah, and it's best to go in from this side, because if you go from this side, you may not be able to get the rack off if it's up against the cab.
There you go.
Put it in this way.
And you're using a flat washer on each side.
Yeah.
As Calvin's doing that, we do have the instruction sheet that has all of these steps printed out. It also has a diagram on the front showing the rack and how that goes together. They should find one of these in each box. Move on over to the passenger side. Once again, making sure the down angle on this is headed into the bed of the vehicle. Right. Almost there now. We're getting real close to being able to just walk around this rack and tighten everything up. Last but not least, we have the 4th extra crossbar. You like to do that at the very end, Calvin, or?
Yeah, it depends on the person on what you're carrying on the load, because you may want to put it here, or you may want to put it here, or maybe
Or up
here.
front, right. Let's hold off on that. Let's go around and go ahead and tighten up all the bolts. And we can just go around quickly and get everything tightened up.
You got a couple more for the X brace here.
All right.
You have a nut?
One left. There you go.
That's basically it. You just got to cinch up the bolts and you're done.
Walk all the way around, get everything tight. And then last but not least is we do have this 4th extra crossbar. We could just take these outside clamps off. This comes off with a carriage bolt and a wing nut, so real easy to release. Do the same right here. Spin that off. And then the way this crossbar works here is you're just going to want to place it where you want to see it on the rack. Take your outside clamp here and put it over this hook, and then run your carriage bolt through. Ring that on. Spin that back on, and there you have it. The rack basically at this point is put together. Do recommend grabbing the help of an additional body if you can. Obviously, to lift it up on the truck that you're putting it on, you're going to need that. It does come in handy and quite quickly with another friend or someone helping you. So there it is, our modular racket truck rack coming out of the box. I think we got this done in, I'd say less than 20 minutes or so. And there it is, install.